Hey guys, my name is Hillary with Barbell Acres, and today I'm bringing to you my newborn must-haves. Of course, I'm thinking about this just because I'm due here within a couple weeks, so I'm getting everything together, and I just thought I'd share some of our favorite things that I've found. This is our third baby, so I do feel like I have a somewhat of an understanding of what we need and what we don't need. So yeah, if this would interest you, please follow along. Okay, so I am in my child's very unfinished nursery. So taking a little bit of a hiatus just from putting out any kind of like videos or anything just because we moved. So it's been a busy couple months. So I'm excited. We are finally in our home, in our new build. It has been a process to say the least, and doing it really pregnant has not been ideal, but it's okay. I think we're kind of at the tail end of everything. So I just compiled a list of some different things that I feel like you actually need for a newborn. Spoiler alert, there's not much that you actually need for a newborn, like an actual newborn. As they get older, of course, I think you need a little bit more in terms of like toys and things, but I really don't actually feel like you need a lot. I feel like with our first, I had this shower that was, people got me so many like beautiful things and tons of clothes, and I didn't end up using a lot of it or needing a lot of it. Even if I used it, I didn't feel like I actually needed it. So this is, I wouldn't say a minimalist list, but it's things that I think are very practical, that I genuinely have used and liked through at least 2 kids. Yeah, I would say I used all of this stuff for both of my kids, or I'll tell you if I did it. But okay, just jumping in. This is, there's really no rhyme or order to this, rhyme or reason, but this is the Hatch sound machine. I think there's like a couple different kinds now. I just have the most basic, but I actually re-got this, which I think I shared in my last video, or one of my videos I thrifted actually a Hatch sound machine. I was gonna buy it regardless, but I found it at this thrift store I was at. So I ended up buying it used for, I think it was like $30, but I really like them. We used, I think it's like the washing machine sound, and my kids still have it in their rooms, and I just love it. I've always slept with a fan, so I like some type of noise. I know there's kind of like mixed opinions on this, I guess, but I do find that they sleep a little more soundly, especially with other children screaming and running around. Not that I want them to get used to quiet, like in silence, because all my newborns have slept through noise of different kinds. But this is just something that I feel like they can use at the beginning, and then they can use till they're 4 or 5. But yeah, I love that one. You can control it with your phone. And then there's buttons on the bottom as well. So going into actual newborn things. So this is just a footed sleeper. This one is from Magnetic Me, and it's magnetic. I love these for the middle of the night changes, just because you don't really want to play with, like, especially buttons. I have very little onesies with buttons just because they're so annoying in the middle of the night. So yeah, I would definitely recommend getting several of these. They're kind of expensive, but I think they are really convenient, I guess. And I mostly like to have like a cotton. I just think it's nice and cool. Most of my children, all of my children actually, will be born in the late spring, summer. So I like these Burt's Bees, organic, just cotton, and they're just nice and cool, and you can spit up on them and then just throw them in the wash. And yeah, I think they hold up actually pretty good. I'm definitely like, these were my first, and only of course my daughter wore this, but then this was gotten with my son, and yeah, I think they hold up really good. They look basically new, so they wash well, and they can handle all the spit up and blowouts and all the things. And they're really cute patterns as well. They always have that the bee on the bottom. So, but yeah, these are zippers, and yeah, bonus points if you get it to zipper both ways. I love that, but these just zipper the one way. I think one of the really important things with a newborn is having some type of baby carrier. So this is just what I have here. This is the Ergo 360. I actually have the Ergo Embrace, and it's more for it's more cloth-like for newborns. I really like that one. And then I'm gonna try this time the Solly. So I actually got that hand-me-down from my sister. So I'm gonna try that. That one's the one that like wraps a ton, but and I've had a couple different kinds. I can put them in the description. The ones I've had, I really like wraps. I find that that's just like if you want to get anything done, that's basically how you have to do it. especially with multiple children. But I wore my kids, even when I was doing cardio after, like later on, until my daughter was 9 months, until she was, hurting my back, and I would wear her on the treadmill with this Ergo 360. So this one is not designed for a newborn, I don't believe, or if you do have a newborn in it, you have to have like an insert. This is just, it's like a more structured carrier, and so it works, I think, until they're up until like 18 months or 2, I think they advertise. I don't know that I could ever get a 2-year-old in here, but maybe. But definitely this is like a longer term one. Again, this is more of an investment, but I think it's a really good ask for like a shower things. And then getting one that's more tailored for like a newborn, like a Solly, or just one that's more soft and can kind of really tie the baby up. Next thing would be a bassinet. I don't have the bassinet I have up there. I have the Halo bassinet. It swivels over in the middle of the night. So when I want to just like, when the baby's crying in the middle of the night, I can swivel it over to my bed and basically grab them. So that is something I really, really like, that one. I got that actually with my son. I did not have that with my first. And I really, really liked it. So we're definitely, of course, going to reuse it with this baby. But, they're in a bassinet for a while, and it's just convenient to have them by you, especially when they're up so many different times throughout the night. But we do transition our kids to their actual crib. I would say somewhat early one. It's not probably within a few months. So some people have them in their bassinet for, 6 months, the first year even. And that's totally fine, but we like to transition them to their crib just to get used to it within a few months. So I think we did it the quickest with our daughter. We did it like within a month. And then with our son, we did it, I think, at 3 months. So I don't know what we'll do this time. Maybe it keeps getting pushed back, but I think having some type of like sheet is important. And that goes with, I like to get an organic mattress. So I have the Halo bassinet, and then I like to get some type of like organic mattress for the actual crib itself. And then there's a bunch of different kinds, naturopedic, I think, put in the description, but then getting some type of organic cotton sheet is important to me. So again, I love Burt's Bees. I think they're very affordable, and I think they last and are cute for the most part. All right, and the next thing is, this is for bath time. So this is, I'm gonna see, like this really hard plastic, it's Angel Care. I love this thing. So I had other kinds. I've had ones that you have to like fill with in the water. This has the holes, so the water it kind of just sits slightly submerged in it as long as they're sitting. But it's really structured. It holds them up really well. So when they're they can't hold themselves up when they're newborns, even up through 6 months. I use this. It's also it's nice and narrow, so you can fit it. I think you can fit it in a farmhouse sink. I'm pretty sure I was able to do that. So I know some of the other tubs are huge and you have to put them in an actual tub. This is thin enough that I can fit in if you have a large sink of some kind. But yeah, I like that it just holds them up. If it's like a sponge or something, then they can't take baths with their other siblings. So this kind of protects them if they're with other kids, but also, kind of keeps them in their place and holds them up. This is the Boppy, to get a cover on it, but spent a lot of time with this, of course, while I was nursing. You can wear it this way, or you can wear it this way, but yeah, it's always held them up really well. Sometimes I will say when I'm in a sitting position, sitting Indian style, you probably need a pillow underneath to keep them up. But if they're in a bed, you can just kind of prop it up. But yeah, I've used all of this. This is held up really well through, if you had it cover, through spit ups and just different things. So I love this. Yeah. I know there's other brands and things, but this is what I got with my shower, and this is just kind of what I always stuck to. I really have no complaints about that. The next thing would be Baby Shusher. I don't know that this is 100% must have, but this is just something that I did find was actually helpful, mostly with my first. My second, I didn't use it actually as much, but I'm gonna, pull it out. It's just, it basically makes the shh sound, and over you can set it to 15 minutes, I think 30 minutes, and it's just battery, so you can basically a kind of a portable sound machine you can put in the stroller or things. But yeah, really I like it. Again, don't think it's a must-have, but I think it's just something helpful, a tool to have on hand if you need. The next thing is little bibs. They spit up so much. I love these little bandana bibs. I think they're so cute. Specifically it's copper pearl, and they come in so many different patterns and things. I just thought they were the most precious things. So I got them I have boy ones and then I have girl ones as well, but I love them with both my kids. Again, they wash really well, they hold up, and just soft and nice, especially if you have a child that does, you know, spit up somewhat. Next thing would be a diaper bag. This we've actually had through both kids, and you know, you'll use it even after they're like newborns and babies. I mean, we just stopped taking it basically when they're potty trained. You use this, you take it to like nursery at church or, you know, wherever the kid's being watched. It does have some pilling up here. This is like, you can kind of see, but otherwise it's in really good shape for having, you know, 2 children with it and just kind of taking it everywhere. This is the brand Fawn design. This is kind of like a gray leather. So I think it's kind of masculine enough that my husband can use it and doesn't look too feminine. But I like all actually has stuff in it, but it's nice and deep. You can put stuff down in. You can put like one of these. And then has a lot of pockets on the inside. So, and then there's also a lot of pockets on the outside as well. Like you can stick bottles on both sides here, and you can even stick other things down in here. So if you wanted, and there's hidden pockets like here as well. So there's really like a lot you can do, and you can make it like a side bag. I think it's a little big for that, but you can do that. So anyway, really haven't had any other brands, so I can't really speak to any other brands, but I've always been happy with the Fawn design. The next thing is one of these. So these are just nice to throw in your bag and open up and have like a portable changing table. I like it for traveling mostly, or for like when we're out. I don't love like putting my child on like a public restroom changing table. So this is just something I like to have and just put it on, and you can throw this in the wash, which I have, so really like that. I probably should have mentioned this first, but this is a diaper subscription. So we actually cloth diapered with my son, which we just started doing when he was maybe like 6 months, I want to say, and then we continued that all the way through when he was potty trained. But the cloth diapers we have do not fit newborns, so I'd have to buy them special like newborn cloth diapers, which I'm not going to do, of course. So I started a subscription, as I kind of did with both my kids when they were fresh. Plus I really don't want, going back to that, I really don't want to have to cloth diaper and kind of all the work with that at the very beginning. Just kind of want to be able to have some disposables. I like cloth diapers a lot. I will probably go back to that, but for now at the very beginning, I just want to do something a little bit more simple for myself. So I started this one I have, it's Coterie is the subscription I got. Non-toxic as much as you can get with not cloth diapers, I guess, with not organic cotton cloth diapers. So and chlorine free, all the things. So, and then it also comes with wipes as well, and you can get other add-ons, but this is like a monthly subscription, and you can set it as like, I think every 2 weeks, every 4 weeks, every 6 weeks, so you can do it as often as you need. But this is what we decided to go with this time. So this is my one and only purchase I made for this child. This is, again, I don't know that I would say this is like a must-have, but this is something that is nice to have. I don't know that they make this anymore. So this is the brand Baby Delight. It's like a wedge, basically. So it somewhat holds them up. So I also have the Docatot, and I've heard great things about the Snuggle Me Organic. They're beautiful. The Docatot I have is actually really, really pretty. I love it. But I don't think it lasts very long. The child only really wants to be laying flat down like that, where they're sleeping a lot for the first, I would say, month, the first maybe 6 weeks. After that, it basically goes into storage, and you spent so much money on that. I don't know that that's something that is worth doing. However, this one, or something like this, where it's kind of almost like a wedge and it elevates them. I've heard it's good for reflux, which my kids didn't have too much of that, but if your child does, spit up a lot, then I think that would be helpful. But mostly just you can lay them in it and they're elevated a little bit, so they can like look around them, they can see their siblings or see what you're doing, as opposed to laying flat and they can't really see anything. So I like this more, and I think this is a little bit more of a long-term investment, where you get more out of it than like a Docatot would, and I think it's also less expensive. So I've had bouncers, and I can put in the description too, that elevate them like the Baby Bajorn. I didn't have that one, but my sister does, and I've had like a less expensive one where it basically just elevated them and they basically can rock on their own. My first child really liked that, my second did not. So it's kind of hit or miss if they like some of these like things. I find it, you know, easier sometimes just to, you know, put them on the ground on a play mat. I think that's gonna be the best. But if you do need like a seat like this, I think it is nice to have on hand if you're cooking or something and you want them kind of more with you basically on the ground. And then leading into the next thing is a playmat. So I have the Love Every playmat and both my kids have loved it. I actually think it kind of looks starting to look bad. Like I need to get new Velcro and things because the Velcro doesn't actually stick to the top part, but I don't have that with me right now, but my kids have loved it. It's just something nice to it's almost just like a decorative blanket, basically to throw them on. Kind of an expensive decorative blanket, I will say, but I like the whole components of each like side of the blanket being something interactive for them and something that helps them learn. I do think they did like it, if nothing else, and I will definitely pull it out. Oh my goodness, okay, camera done, but I think that would be something good to have on your registry. Okay, so the next thing is not really newborn, it's more like 3 months plus, 6 months plus, but these Usborne books, I think that's how you say it, is like the touchy feel books, where you can kind of like, there's very minimal words and they will feel the different textures. I've always really loved books and reading to my children, and my kids love books, so I think stuff like this is very valuable. Just even if they're young and you don't think they're really like paying much attention, I do think like this sets them up to really have a love for books, and it's just an activity to do with them. And my even older two will sit for these, you know, they'll kind of like, let me feel, even though they're like way above this. So I think this is something that's really good to have on hand. A lot of these books, something I've never really minded having a lot of, is books, just because I think kids love them, and I want them to be in books more so than I want them to have like a love for screens. So that's something I will, you know, always buy for my kids for the most part. You don't really need like socks or shoes, especially if you're just having them in onesies like I always do. However, I do think if you're gonna have them out to church or like have them in outfits, these are really nice. I don't even really know, I got these for my shower, and this is actually something I didn't even ask for, but I think you can they're basically like really tight around the ankle, and they're like just no structure to them. They're just really, really soft. You know, they're not on their feet, of course, so you just want to get something that's gonna stay on when they start to kick their feet and just be little spazzes. So I loved these with my daughter. I wore them on her all the time. I thought they were, of course, cute, but they also just stayed on. They're like a little slipper, and they look nice if you throw them on with an outfit in the summer. I think that's kind of important. So I never got a lot of shoes, but this was something. And there are footed pajamas that don't have feet as well, so that's when this one came in handy. This is, I think these are just from Target, but they're like little unicorn, and then they basically go around their ankle and they snap, and I found that they really stayed on really good when they started to kick their feet, and it's just something I could throw on for their little feet. Again, socks, they always found a way to just like not even pull off, just throw off, I don't know how, or they came off. So these little kind of shoes things are nice if they're wearing an outfit, or if they don't, the onesie doesn't have feet. I liked them a lot. I would say one of the must-haves I actually think is very important to have is a stroller of some kind, just a quality stroller. I've had the UPPAbaby, so the first one had the car seat with it, and then I transitioned to a double stroller with my second, and you do have to pay a lot of money to get it to become a double stroller by any means, but I think if you can like ask it on your shower for like as like a group gift or anything, or if you can find it secondhand, I think it's a really great investment, just because it is such a nice, and it does grow with your family. There's other brands I know that are great, but I think having a stroller that's, you know, walks smoothly and is going to last through multiple kids, because it does take a lot of wear and tear, is something that is really valuable, and I think that is truly a must-have. I always love to go on walks with my kids, or you know, use it to walk into church, or just use it to walk into anything, grocery store. So I think that is something that I always had in the back of my car. We always use nightly for nightly walks. So yeah, I think that's really, really important, especially with young children. A rocker, I think that's very important. Again, I don't know that it's a must-have, but I spent a lot of time in this for the first year or two. You know, as long as basically they're in their crib, we sat in this at night and would give them a bottle, or we would, even when they were like 18 months and I was done breastfeeding and they were really no longer babies, if they were in the crib, they were still in this. We would still use this at night. So I think a good rocker, one that can recline. I have one that rocks and then it can also recline, and you can kind of like almost like use it as like a bed. I loved, because in the middle of the night here doing nighttime feedings, and if you don't want to wake up your husband or be in your bed, especially later on. So I thought it was super valuable to have. And again, it's a bigger investment, but I thought it was just something that was worthwhile and I used a lot. I don't have any, for whatever reason, on hand, but burp claws are another thing that I found to be super convenient. I would just always have them. I got the really cheapy ones that are like almost like a muslin material, just from Amazon. And then I had prettier ones too, but I found that they all worked the same. You know, you were using them, putting them over your shoulder when you burped your baby, and then would just throw them in the wash. So to have at least a dozen or so on hand, I found to be very helpful. So the Haka, I don't have it with me right now, but it would basically suction to your other nipple, your other boob, and then you would be breastfeeding on the other one, or pumping, I guess you could do as well, but you were breastfeeding on the one and then you would suction the Haka, and it caught a lot of milk, especially at the beginning when you would have letdown and it wasn't 100% regulated. I found that I was catching like several ounces in the Haka. So yeah, it's easy to spill. You do have to be careful with it. When you set it down, another kid will come and it'll topple over and it'll lose milk. So you do have to be careful. But I really did think it caught a lot of milk, and for me that was worth it. So I really liked that. I used that with both kids, and I will continue to pull that out and use that again. I would say having some type of like pump on hand is helpful, whether you want the wearable ones or the traditional. I had the Spectra, and I still have it, and I'll continue to use it. I do like it. I've never really tried the wearable ones. I've had people say that they love them though, that you can make your kids breakfast and while you're pumping. So I think that works for a lot of women that are, have multiple children. So we'll see. But I do think potentially if you want to breastfeed, having a pump on hand. And I think a lot of times you get them through insurance. You can get them through insurance. So I think it's something valuable to have on hand, even if you don't know how your breastfeeding journey is going to go, or if you plan to just predominantly like breastfeed your baby and not pump. But I think it's still good to have on hand. All right, so this is the Hash. I've had this again through both my children. I don't think it's a must-have by any means, because I think you predominantly change your children wherever, but it's kind of like a nice to have, as a lot of this stuff is. It's not necessarily must have. Of course, your baby's gonna survive without it, but I liked being able to keep track of my child's weight, if they were gaining weight. I've always had home births, so yeah, and I was trying to breastfeed, so I was making sure that they were getting enough ounces. So you could even, weigh the baby, feed the baby, and then weigh the baby again and see if, how many ounces you've potentially given them. But also just to make sure that they're steadily gaining weight. In between doctor's appointments. So I always really liked it for that reason. I also like it because it's wipeable. I know there's another one, I think it's called like the Peanut, I'm not 100% sure, but so I think it's worth having just because it's wipeable. And I've had this through 2 kids, and you can just wipe it clean, basically no stains or anything if you're gonna want it. If I know a complaint I've heard people say, like, well, is your baby cold when you're putting them down? When they're that little, you can lay a blanket down. But yeah, for the most part, they're in their onesie already, so you're just kind of typically laying them down and doing a diaper change. Or you have them out of the bath and you have a towel down already. So no, I don't think that really affects the child too much. But I thought that was something that I really loved always. And yeah, I'm glad that we asked for it on our shower, just because it's been used nicely. And the last thing I would say just to have on hand is bottles. I like glass bottles. I did not have them with my first, and I kind of wish I would have. I just kind of used like traditional plastic or silicone. And with my son, I just invested in some different glass bottles. The Philips Advent, that one's good. I also like bibs. I've even tried some like European brands that have like all natural rubber for the nipple, and I find that the nipple is breaking a lot, and I was having to basically rebuy the nipples a lot, especially as they got teeth and different things. Or the sizing was a little weird. The milk would come out super quick or super slow. It was just like a little bit different. I didn't actually love the nipples of a lot of the European brands I tried. However, those two, the Philips Advent and the Bibs, I found are really good. And you know, you don't have to worry about the sizing, and they kind of make sense. So I like glass bottles. You can get 4 ounce and 8 ounce. I start with 4 ounce for the newborn. If I'm giving them milk I pumped, or you know, formula of any kind. But for the most part, I don't use them a ton at the beginning. So, but I still think, you know, you don't know how your journey is going to go with breastfeeding, especially if you're a first time mom. So I just think having some on hand is good, especially even just to give them pumped milk. So I think that pretty much sums up everything I feel like is like a necessity. And like I said, most of this stuff isn't even a necessity. Really, all you need is some onesies, a car seat, and you know, somewhere for them to sleep. And I know even a lot of people co-sleep. So it's really, you know, up to your personal preference, what you feel like you need. But I think some of this stuff will, you know, make your life easier, especially like a baby carrier, the boppy, different things. We can visit her. All right, guys, hope that was helpful for you. Like I said, this is our 3rd one, so I feel like we have it pretty nailed down that you pretty much don't need much. So yeah, I'm excited to have a newborn and have a little baby. And yeah, there's things I'm definitely nervous about as anytime you have kids. So going from 2 to 3, you know, will be a transition and we'll have to figure it out. But I'm really excited, and it's coming up so close here. So anyway, hope this was helpful for you. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them below. Or even if you feel like you have a better brand or something that you think, I'm still definitely learning. And yeah, so I haven't really bought anything besides the pack of diapers I got. That's pretty much all I've gotten for this child. So yeah, maybe I need something still. All right, thanks guys. Have a great day.